On to another story we've been tracking for days, if not weeks now. There may be some light at the end of the tunnel over the acrimonious equation between restaurants and food delivery platforms in Bengaluru. ET now has learned that a significant degree of headway has been made in discussions between the Bengaluru chapter of the National Restaurant Association of India and Swiggy. Remember, restaurants in Bengaluru were threatening to stop accepting orders on these apps like Swiggy and Zomato over issues ranging from non-consensual discounting and sky-high commissions. ET Now was also the first to break the news that right here on South Central, in fact, that the Restaurant Association had consented to move its August 15th deadline to the 1st of September. This after talks with Zomato last week yielded some positive results. We're now hearing that there's perhaps more good news from similar talks that were held with Swiggy last Friday. To get us some of these details, I'm now joined by the man of the moment, Bengaluru head of the National Restaurant Association of India, Anand Narayan. Anand, good to have you back with us on South Central. You probably already preempted my first question to you, Anand. How did those talks with Swiggy go last Friday that you were talking to me about? Can we conclusively say that the situation between restaurants in Bengaluru and the food delivery apps are a tad better than what it used to be?
Firstly, nice to be back here with wonderful host, you hosting the show. I think you guys should be called ET first now. Anything coming first, you break it first. Good job. Now coming to the question back, yes, there is a good respite. Like I said, the ecosystem should go hand in hand. Thankfully, August 15th will be Independence Day and Happiness Day, not a jihad. The deadline has been pushed to September 1st. There's been very good response by Swiggy CEO, Zomato CEO. The teams have been wonderful in listening to many of us. They've assured us that most of the problems would be solved. They've taken a little extended deadline. I think more or less this should close the bone of contention issues between us, and I think it should usher a new era of togetherness and ecosystem growth now.
Right. You know, Anand, that's extremely encouraging. That's extremely encouraging right now. But I have to ask you, those two big issues, Anand. One is those non-consensual discounts that restaurants have had the problem with for the longest time, as well as sky-high commissions. Have they been ironed out, these outstanding issues, as far as the food delivery apps are concerned? Have you gotten over that hill?
Bang on questions like the previous time. Both are the most burning issues, rightly told by you. See, the discounted one is a lot of error happening in the system, error happening by the people in the system. I don't know deliberately or why it's happening. It's happened. So they have come up with a OTP-based discount system where without the OTP, discounts would not be coming onto restaurants. More or less, if this is looked into, worked on, then I think the problem solved. The second question of high commission. To be honest, see, every business has their own way of working. Rapido only works on 0 commission. Flipkart is working on 11% commission. We being the other side, we don't know what is the expense of Zomato, what is the expense of Swiggy. It's their prerogative. If it works, be on board. If it doesn't work, don't be on board. Where we are questioning them is when you talk about 25% discount, don't deduct 45% discount. When you're talking about 26% discount, don't talk about deducting 66% discount. This again, they've come up with an OTP format and an agreement where it will be signed in regional language. Believe me, most of Indian restaurants, they are in vernacular language. They like to converse in vernacular language.
Right.
22, 23 local languages. So they get mistaken when the agreement term is in English and they sign something which they cut a sorry figure later. So these have been addressed quite well.
Right. So if I'm hearing this right, Anand, what you are saying is that a discount or a commission can only happen when both parties are on board with regard to what that number is. Is that how it will be on a case-to-case basis going forward with regard to individual restaurants and these apps?
Absolutely. Rightly said, it will be case to case and it will depend on what a restaurant owner wants. It will depend on what a restaurant doesn't want. These mistakes
Right.
which were
And
happening earlier would be with the consent on OTP and an agreement
okay.
with their language, what they can understand, where they can either sign or
Right.
decide not to sign.
Right. And I've also been reading, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the smaller restaurants, the Darshanis, they've been asking for a smaller commission to be taken, by these apps, given that margins are already wafer thin as far as these smaller restaurants are concerned. What have the apps had to say with regard to that specific request?
See, as NRA chapter head, as somebody who's united 7 restaurants and taken lakhs of restaurateurs to Swiggy
Last
Zomato,
question.
my heart and soul is for definitely restaurateurs. He should make the maximum. Having said that, we are nobody to question somebody on their percentage of what they charge. Of course, we have asked for almost 7 to 8% lesser than what they are actually charging now. But it's their
Right.
baby, it's their name. We cannot name their baby.
Right.
At the most, we
Absolutely.
can
I
have
completely get that.
parallel, yeah, at the most, we can have different platforms, different aggregators giving you better service or rather better percentage, which as an association,
Right.
heart and soul, we're working towards that.
Right. In fact, yes, the last time we spoke, you did talk about the need to end the duopoly and bring in more players. Last question before I let you go. There are a few days to go before that food delivery summit is being conducted in Gujarat. Can we expect a more pan-India policy or a more pan-India approach to dealing with food delivery and the business of sustainable, equitable, acceptable food delivery going by the Bengaluru example that you've helped craft? Can this be seen as a nationwide policy wherein restaurants end up with such agreements with platforms across the board with regard to making it on a case-by-case consensual discount model? And can the summit pave the way for that, Anand?
Bang on. If we dug gold here in Bangalore, it will be Sonepe, Suhaga, and Ahmedabad. I promise you that. Whatever we are doing it as an experiment in Bangalore, we definitely want this to be deployed in other parts of the country. Of course, Swiggy, Zomato are putting in their might to do good to the ecosystem.
Right.
And I'm, like you rightly said, 20th will be a bigger news. And for sure, good news for the
Absolutely.
country from Zomato and Swiggy.
Well, lots to look forward to then, Anand. Thank you so much for joining us in South Central and breaking down these details and briefing us on some of the big takeaways of those twin meetings. Thanks again for joining us on the show
Thank
today.
you so much. You guys are wonderful, wonderful channel, wonderful host. Pleasure to be on your channel.
Thank you very much, Anand.
Bye-bye. See you.
Moving on, US Ambassador to India Sergio Gore has highlighted Karnataka's growing importance in the India-US economic relationship, saying more than 1,000 American companies now operate in the state. Speaking in Bengaluru, Gore pointed to the strength of the state's technology and innovation ecosystem. He also said that India-US bilateral trade has crossed $240 billion, underlining the scale of the economic partnership. Here's what the US Ambassador said.
Whether that's defense sales, you name it, energy, a massive increase in energy from the last year. We're at 30% growth from the last year alone. The United States and India have limitless potential. That limitless potential goes through Karnataka. I'm thrilled to be here. I congratulate all of you for everything you have done, you continue to do. Our consulate in Chennai is open to you. Our embassy in Delhi is always open to you. And whatever we can do to work together with you and take this relationship to the next level, you'll find an open and willing partner in us.
Right. Meanwhile, Kerala Chief Minister V.D. Satheesan has promised new SOPs for coastal safety and rescue operations. Now, the announcement from the Chief Minister comes even as 3 fisherfolk have been missing for 11 days now after separate boat accidents off Kerala's Thiruvananthapuram and Kollam coastlines on the 31st of July. In fact, the incidents led to the families and the fishing communities protesting, alleging delays and lapses in rescue efforts. This even as the Navy and other agencies are continuing search and rescue operations. And before we end, here's a heartwarming video of Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Joseph Vijay at a drug awareness event in Chennai. At a felicitation along the sidelines of that event, the Chief Minister met a rather young cop. In fact, that's the son of Ramnathan Superintendent of Police Chandish arriving in a police uniform and winning some fanfare from none other than the Chief Minister himself, who carried him for a photo op before giving the child a mock salute. Well, that certainly made that kid's day. But with that, it's a wrap on South Central today. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, with more news and updates from South India. But for the moment, it's goodbye from us.